Hello everyone, welcome to What If Goku Was an Avatar and Becomes Firebender Part 2. Before we start, please go support Okansino for writing that awesome fanfic. Now let's begin. Protecting home. After the vacation trip to Ember Island, it has passed a few weeks. At first, everything went to normal, and Goku was happy about it. His sister was very calm and having more free time, and his older brother was spending his days alongside his girlfriend. Goku still went to train, but due to the problem with the last reunion, he needed to study warfare tactics with the books he received from General Tumen. At the same time, his siblings were assisting the reunions on his behalf, but Azula made sure that Zuko didn't know that he was invited only because Goku didn't want to be there. Everything seemed normal again, but Goku saw that his brother was acting somewhat suspicious, so he became concerned, and every time he tried to have a conversation with Zuko, he dismissed him or did not take him seriously. Then Goku consulted the most reliable person he knew, his sister. Hey, sis. Do you have a moment? I am not going to spar with you, Goku. Is not that. Azula was receiving a skin treatment at the moment, but when she heard that her twin brother wanted to talk about something and was not about fighting, she got interested. Azula just waved her hand to the petition so they could leave the room. Tell me, what do you want to talk about? Well, Zuko has been acting weird lately, and I overheard that he is still visiting Uncle Iroh in prison. Yes, I already heard about it. And, well, I don't know what we should do. I mean, as our brother. Azula smiled at Goku and pet his head like if he was a little dog. You really care about him? Well, yeah. But Zuko is passing as a dueling phase. He did spend the last years with our uncle, but now he just realized that uncle was a traitor. I only hope that his loyalty is with his family and nation. But that is his decision to make. I see. Goku was disappointed that Azula was not able to say something more reassuring. He wanted to hear that his brother surely will be on their side, but the answer was open in the air. He just wished for his brother to make the right decision. The days after that were about the preparation of the possible invasion that the Fire Nation could suffer. They knew that Avatar's followers were still out there and that they already had influence, to some extent, with some resistance groups. The plan was to let the guards on the shore so they can delay the attack, and inside the city, the people will evacuate and only soldiers will remain. A few of the soldiers should be there only to maintain the invaders busy until the eclipse pass. They knew that the eclipse will take their bending for a few minutes, the reason why no one has objections to the plan, a soldier should be able to fight with and without fire bending. Although Oz-I wanted Goku and Azula to be near him, he decided to use them in different positions. Goku put himself in the city alongside the soldiers that will try to slow down the invaders, knowing the fighting skills he has, even without his fire bending, he was the perfect choice for it. Azula will be in a room close to the palace. In the meantime, Zuko should be in the Fire Lord Hall, waiting for any enemy to be there, so he would be the first distraction after Goku, but before Azula. This plan was made thinking that one of the people in the resistance was the one who invented the machine that helps them to surf the skies, so they may use something like that to attack the city without crossing with Goku. The day before the eclipse, Goku was in the Turtle Duck's pond. He was training by himself with some meditation, which was interrupted by Ty Lee. Behind her was Azula and Mai. Do you really take your training seriously? Training? He was just taking a nap. He was training his energy. I could feel it even outside the building. The colors of his energy are beautiful. Preparing for the fight. Well, I want to capture them alive. Oh, setting difficulties. I like that. Don't worry, we will be there to help you. No, you won't. You need to be safe in the evacuation camp. Goku said that, answering Ty Lee, who started to blush when she saw that Goku was with a straight face and showing that he cares for her. Now you sound like Zuko. They are the ones attacking, and they will do everything in order to have what they want. Remember Amashu? They even kidnap your baby brother, that's how low they can go. After that, Mai could not answer back. Who would tough that the decisive fight will take place in our land? I don't know. But this is a battle we must win, no, a battle we will win. At that very moment, Goku looked like the most reliable man they have ever seen. Mai smirks a little, while Ty Lee was with a big smile on her face. She was mumbling a light tone for her happiness, as she was still enchanted by Goku's words. You need to be safe. Azula was smiling with confidence. Goku was seriously thinking about his friends, and he wanted to protect them. He asked to be in the front line for that very reason, wanted to stop the attack himself so his siblings, friends, and his father won't be in danger. The day of the attack arrived, and everyone was in his position. Goku was waiting in the center of the city, while other soldiers were hiding in between the streets. Before they went to their positions, Goku asks them to redirect the invaders to his position when the eclipse is happening. Because many soldiers already saw him train against multiple elite soldiers and always come out with a victory, they knew that Goku could take care of anyone even without fire bending. Goku was sitting in a lotus position and was concentrating on the fight. He was able to feel that one person with an energy similar to the Avatar was going to the Fire Lord Hall, but then he realized that Zuko was not there. Goku was disappointed that his brother decided to leave, as he could find his energy next to his father, and apparently, he wanted to fight him. He was not afraid that Zuko could kill his father or the other way around. Goku believed that his father is an honorable man, he demonstrated in the Anikai they previously had, and he will show the same mercy again for sure. Then he felt that the Avatar went back to the place where the fight was happening. Then it seems that they are moving again, now to a place close to the bunker they had. Goku wanted to go, but he felt that the enemy army was arriving in the city and the eclipse was going to happen soon, so he stayed in the city and hoped for the victory of his sister. The eclipse started and some earthbenders were there. Goku dashed to the place and with one kick defeated the group of 4 as they were in a line, which made it easy for him to take care of them. Other earthbenders appeared behind them and created a wall that started to move towards Goku, but Goku destroyed with only one punch. He charges against them, Goku kicked them with a spin kick, which broke a small wall of rock that appeared when the earthbender tried to defend himself without any fortune. Then without wasting time he appeared in front of the other earthbender, and with a series of punches in the stomach the enemy was out of conscious. Then some machines appeared and were similar to the machines he was when traveling with Azula, so he went to it and tried to stop it with his own hands. After a small distance where Goku was sent back by the machine, Goku could stand his ground, lift the machine and send him to fly against another one. But then Goku realized the number of machines that were invading. He was confident to stop the soldiers, but the machines will take more time, and there were many of them. If only I could firebend, he said to himself with impotence. He lifted his hand and with some anger tried to firebend. He was pointing to the machines that were in front, and to his surprise, a beam was fired from his hand as usual, but with even more power. Goku smiled, he did not know what was happening, but he could firebend in the eclipse, so he started to fight with more confidence, using close combat with soldiers and firebending to the machines. With a view of what was happening, many soldiers regained confidence in themselves too. Just a small number of soldiers were armed with swords, but those who did not went and took anything in their possibilities as a weapon. Some took some maces that were in the house of some people, others took the knife of the kitchens, others took the sticks they found in the streets. In the top of the mountain, close to the sides of the city, a couple was standing, an old soldier wearing a war suit from the Southern Water Tribe and using the head of a wolf as a helmet. At his side was a girl that was helping him to walk, she was young with brown skin, she was wearing a blue dress. Both of them were scared to see that there was one firebender taking care of most of the army they assembled, not only that, he was using his firebending in the eclipse. Then they realized that he stopped and was staring at them. The only thing they could think is to order the retreat and to hope that the others who went after the Fire Lord were successful. Goku was able to see that another soldier was able to firebend, and Goku screamed to the soldiers to capture alive every person they saw. The soldiers screamed back to Goku with joy as they knew what was going to happen next. Then from the sky, the flying bison of the Avatar passed. Goku realized that the person did not have a similar energy to the Avatar because the person was the Avatar. He thought that his sister saw the Avatar dying by Zuko's hand, but maybe he could have survived due to his Avatar powers. But that moment was not the one to think about it. Then suddenly, from behind the palace, some war balloons appeared with the Fire Nation symbol, which means that it was their turn to be in the offensive. Goku saw that the Avatar was flying to attack the balloons, and he wanted to go to help, but he needed to help to capture the invaders and stop them. After Goku helped to capture the invaders in the city, he went to the same location where the couple of the girl and the old soldier were. It seems that the Avatar already gave up the fight against the war balloons, and he was able to see the war balloons destroying the machines the invaders used to arrive, with that victory was assured. Although he saw the Avatar leaving in his flying bison, he knows that his sister could take care of them if she wanted. The good thing here is that the worst has passed and that they have won, and he could protect the city, especially his family and friends. Then he realizes that all the soldiers were waiting for something as they were watching at him, then a soldier appeared next to him and told him that they are waiting for the prince to declare the victory. Me? It's something that the most distinguished person in the battle normally does. But, please, Prince Goku. I guess I have to. Goku resigned himself as he could not escape from this ceremony he did not know about. Maybe if I had put attention in classes, I may have remembered about this, he thought. So, without knowing what exactly needed to do, he raised his hand and screamed. Gah. Then all the soldiers also screamed the same alongside him, while the soldier next to him said. Prince Goku took care of the invaders with his own hands, after that all the soldiers screamed even louder. Betrayal. The next day after the battle, Goku and Azula were again in front of their father. The generals were also there as spectators. Although Azula did not take part in the capture of the invaders, it was well known that she was the one who took care of those who tried to attack Fire Lord Ozai directly. Ozai was with a stern face. Prince Goku, you excelled on the battlefield yesterday. Your leadership was able to command the soldiers and give them the motivation needed to continue, even when no one was able to firebend, reaffirmed your expertise in the battlefield and guerrilla tactics. Azula, although I know that you accomplish your duty fighting those who infiltrated, we were able to receive information that your first report about the death of the Avatar was wrong. Can you explain yourself? Of course, father. As I detailed in the written report I made about the whole situation back in Ba Sing Se. The plan was for the Dai Li to distract the followers of the Avatar, while Zuko and I attacked the Avatar. The moment that we could fight him together was when Iroh appeared and stopped me. After that, the Dai Li warriors and I took care of him, while Zuko fought the Avatar. When we were able to get there, he told us that he killed the Avatar right there, incinerating him completely. Which made it impossible to find a body. I see. So, your brother's treason was calculated since that moment to create an element of surprise. After hearing about the treason of Zuko, Goku changed his face to one with pain. As I was able to realize it. I understand that it is difficult to think that our own family is doing this to us. That is why we should remain together. Now go and rest, that later this day we need the population to celebrate this last battle, and they will need to see their hero. Once Azula and Goku left the Fire Lord Hall, they walked to the usual spot, the Turtle Duck Pond. They were walking side by side in silence. They did not know what to talk about. Each of them had different things in their minds. Azula was relieved that her father did not punish her for lying to him. And Goku was still thinking about his brother, about the news that also his uncle escaped jail the same day. Then he remembered about Mai and felt sorry for her as his boyfriend and fiancé is now a traitor. The ceremony for Goku was the same as they did for Azula and Zuko before. The people were in the main square, but now it looked that there are more people than the last time. It seems that not only the common population was there were also some soldiers that were on their resting day. All of them were cheering for Goku, as they were able to personally witness everything he was able to accomplish. Goku was overwhelmed by everything. He just waved at them for a brief moment and then he made a small speech that had been written by Azula. When he went back to the palace, he was received by Ty Lee and Mai who bowed to him. Goku just smiled at them while scratching his head. After a few days later, during one of the meetings about the war, some news arrived. One was about Amashu's current situation, as it was taken over by the Mad King. The other was about the maximum secured prison. Boiling Rock. It seems that Zuko was captured when he tried to search for the war criminals. Goku looked pained by the news, I realized that and wanted to point him to can make a recognition trip there, but Azula asked for a turn to speak, she asked her father to be her the one to make the recognition. She explained that she wanted to use some new techniques to can take information from people. Fire Lord Ozai accepted and put her in charge of that mission. They gave her only 48 hours to can make the recognition. If it is Zuko, she should take all the information needed for the Fire Nation. When the meeting was over, Goku got close to Azula. I want to go with you. Not in your state. You are currently still dueling with the treason of his. That is why you need to calm yourself. I can take care of him. You should visit Mai and help her at this moment. I will go with Ty Lee. Azula continued walking and Goku was still standing in the same place. What they did not know is that Mai was already going to the prison where Zuko was. The warden was Mai's uncle. At the prison, when Azula was able to arrive, she was escorted by the warden, who was making an interrogation with a man that presumably was helping a prisoner to escape, but after just one glance, Azula was able to find out that the person was not lying. So, she decided to walk away from the place. She was able to realize that the prisoners were sent to the square of the prison, which made her wonder about the situation, or if the place was really under control. She decided to step aside and see how things evolved, as this could be something her older brother elaborated. Azula and Ty Lee were watching the entire situation. They saw how one of the Kyoshi warriors took the warden prisoner and then how the water tribe guy and another two men alongside Zuko were running to the gondola. Zuko activated the mechanism and then broke the brake. That is when Azula made her signal to Ty Lee, so they needed to go and capture her brother. Ty Lee jumped over the metal ropes and started to run to the gondola, while Azula took the handcuffs of one of the guardians, then she jumped and flew for a moment, only to use the handcuffs with the ropes to guide her to the gondola, while using fire control to impulse herself. Although Azula already knew how to fly, she did not want to risk falling. Once she was over the gondola, Zuko, the water tribe guy, and the Kyoshi warrior were there. Ty Lee was supposed to take care of the Kyoshi warrior, while Azula would fight her brother and the water tribe guy. It was obvious that, even when Azula was outnumbered and the place where she could fight was small, she was confident that she could win the fight. The bad thing was that if she moved abruptly, Ty Lee may fall to the boiling water under them. Still, she was overconfident that she could defeat them. The bad thing was that when the warden could take out his ties, he ordered to cut the ropes. So, Azula and Ty Lee could not complete their fight and jumped to the gondola that was passing in the other line that was going back to the prison. That was not the ending she was aiming, but it was a win nonetheless. She was kind of happy that the man was putting his life to can have results for her. But in the middle of the travel back to the prison, they realized that the gondola where his brother and the other people was going started to move again and were able to reach the end, while on the other side was Mai. She was the one that helped Zuko to escape. Once Azula left the gondola, she stood in front of Mai. Ty Lee was on one side watching everything very nervously. I never expect this from you, Mai. The thing I don't understand is why. Why would you do it? You know the consequences. I guess you just don't know people as well as you think you do. You miscalculated. I love Zuko more than I fear you. No, you miscalculated, you should have feared me more. After that Azula was going to attack, but she was stopped by Ty Lee that blocked her bending. All were in disbelief of what happened, even Ty Lee herself. But when she recovered and tried to help Mai escape, they were already surrounded by guards and were captured. Other guards helped Azula to stand. Azula was hurt deeply, not by the bend blocking, but by how her only friends betrayed her. She was thinking to only hurt Mai and left her with a small scar on her face so she could remember to not betray her, but she did think of forgiving her, even if she did not get the scar, she will eventually forgive her. But after this, she was furious and did not want to see them ever again. She ordered the guards to take them in a place where they can rot. After her body started to work again, she asked for a map and then she located the place where some old airbenders' city used to be. So she ordered some war balloons to go there with her. It may be too obvious, but judging that they attacked rather quickly after their failed invasion, it means that they could not be that far and the air temples were the perfect fit for the current situation. It didn't take long for her to arrive and it seems that she was right. There he was, in plain sight, the flying bison, the Avatar and his followers. So, she ordered them to launch some explosives. She, unlike her twin brother, does not have any problem using machines to do the job. It seems that the air temples had a mechanism of defense which protected them from the bombs for a while. Then Zuko appeared in front of Azula. What do you think you are doing? Isn't it obvious? I try to kill a traitor. After that, Zuko and Azula exchanged some firebending attacks, but Zuko fell to the abysm. Azula did not care to check if Zuko survived, as the Avatar was passing by, so she tried to take him down, but the flying bison was covered by some rocks that protected. Then Zuko appeared again and they started to fight, but Azula was still overconfident and did not try to attack Zuko. She just received a fire blast directly, but none of them were doing damage as they disappear with a small puff from her lips that create a small fire that protected her when the fire was close. Once she saw that his brother was running to her, she did the same and charged a little foreball with her hand. The clash made Zuko fall again, while Azula was able to fly back to the balloon. The only one who realized that she could fly was the Avatar, who, incredulous by what he saw, tried to lie to himself thinking that it was only his imagination, that she was only able to jump back into the balloon. Azula did not try to follow them now, as the flying bison was still faster than any of the war balloons, and also the time her father gave her was up. When Azula returned, she went straight away to make her report to her father. But before she could say anything her father spoke first. Azula, I already got the information about what happened. Unfortunately, your friends end up being traitors too. But I am glad that you stood your ground there. It was wise to let your twin brother hear, knowing that he has some kind of connection with your friend Ty Lee. Thank you, father. But I still failed you. Well, that is nothing to worry about. The Sazin comet will arrive soon and the plans we have already will take place soon. You can go now. Outside the Fire Lord Hall was Goku. Azula just saw him and started to walk away, but Goku walked behind her. Then when they were in the garden Azula turned around to him very angered. What do you want? Sis, sorry for what happened there in that prison. You know that I'll always be by your side. How can you be so sure? Because I know it. Azula was standing there with a face with Toddlinger and with some tears coming from her eyes. Surprise news, the information of what happened in Boiling Rock arrived first before Azula was able to come back, all thanks to the messenger hawk they received. That made Ozai rethink his original plan. He always thought that Azula will be his successor, but the series of failures she showed are now something to worry about, but surprisingly, the kid he took as a third backup plan is doing things very well. Although at this point, he cannot marry his daughter to him, as all the people think of them as twins, he can still keep the lie and make him the right heir for the throne. No one would object to the decision after all the progress we've made thanks to him. The capture of the Kyoshi warriors, the invasion of Ba Sing Se, and the defense of the city under the eclipse. For Ozai, it was a shame that the Azula's friends betrayed her, as their families were high enough, he would have allowed if Goku had chosen to keep one or even the two of them for him. So, before Azula was able to come back, Fire Lord Ozai summoned Goku alone. Son, please take a seat. Now, with the current situation of the war, our victory is secured, there are only a few resistances in Ba Sing Se, which is a minor problem that I will take care of. But after that, I am planning to change the politics of the world so it can become a better place. Goku looked at his father. He knew that his father only desires the best for the world. The way he is doing it was something that he did not have control of, as the war started even before his father was born, but his father will finally end it. Goku was still with so much hope about what his father was going to say. In order to gain real balance. I will not declare the Fire Nation as the ruler, but myself. That way all the nations will coexist, but they will be as only one. There won't be any political barriers. A firebender will be born in any nation, and that will apply to any person loyal to us. They will be able to be in any place they want, they will experience freedom. Benders and no benders will be the same, because all of them will be my subjects, and I will protect them from any harm. Still, the nations as we know will be working, as the day-by-day problems will need to be taken care of. That is why I want you to become the next Fire Lord. Goku was in shock about that. Although he believed his father could bring balance, the idea of himself as the Fire Lord was something he never thought about. And right now, Azula was not with him to help him to get out of the situation, and even worse, that is Azula's dream, and he does not want to take her dream away. Fire Lord Azai. I do think that you can do it, but I do not desire for the throne. I want to help you and the Fire Nation on the battlefield. The crown should be with someone more capable like my sister. I looked at Goku somehow upset for what he said. But after all this time he knew that his loyalty was always with Azula. It was a good thing to know that he never betrayed her as the others are doing now. But in this decisive moment where he can seize power, Goku was still loyal to her and most importantly, to him. Is that your final answer? You will never have another opportunity to become the Fire Lord. It is, father. I am sure that Azula will lead the Fire Nation as well as you do. I showed a little smirk on his face. Very well. I will crown your sister as the next Fire Lord. In exchange, promise me that you will protect her from any harm. If she is going to be the Fire Lord, means that she is as important as the Fire Nation itself. Leave it to me. Father. Goku smiled when he heard that his father asks him to protect his twin sister. A week has passed after the secret meeting of Goku and Azai. In the bay, near the ships and the war balloons, Azai was standing. A few seconds later, Azula and Goku arrived from different palanquins. Even though Goku did not like them, he knew that this occasion was a very formal thing and he needed to follow the protocols he was told. Then when they arrived where his father was, Azula told her father that she was ready to go with him and destroy the rebels. But then revealed that there was a change of plans. I've decided to lead the fleet of airships to Ba Sing Sea alone. You will remain here in the Fire Nation. But I thought we were going to do this together. My decision is final. You can't treat me like this. Azula, silence yourself. But it was my idea to burn everything to the ground. I deserve to be by your side. At that moment, Azula felt like also her own father was betraying her. She felt powerless at that moment, but when she looked at her sides, Goku was there and just gave her a smile and put her hand on her shoulder to calm her. Azula, listen to me. I need you here to watch over the homeland. It's a very important job that I can only entrust to you. Really? And for your loyalty, I've decided to declare you the new Fire Lord. Fire Lord Azula. It does seem appropriate, but what about you? Fire Lord Azai is no more. Just as the world will be reborn in fire, I shall be reborn as the supreme ruler of the world. After that, the sages that were standing in the sides went and put a new royal garment. From this moment on, I will be known as the Phoenix King. Then the ceremony started and the new flags were raised next to the flags of the Fire Nation Kingdom. Some drums were played while the Phoenix King Azai walked inside the war balloon. Azula then talk again. Father, let me give you a present. In my representation, I want you to take the Daily Force. They are more knowledgeable in the area of Ba Sing Sea, I am sure that will be able to help you. Azai smirk and wave his hand to show up that he allowed the decision of his daughter. Goku and Azula were standing there watching his father go. And when the war balloon left Azula to turn to see Goku. You knew about this? Yeah, we want you to give you the surprise about your crowning. Don't do it again. She was with an upset face when talking to Goku, but once she entered the palanquin and closed the curtains, she made a big smile, she was blushing a little. She was controlling her excitement. Goku already knew that she was happy, even when she was showing that upset face. The end of the war. The next day Azula was dressed by some servant girls. Her face was calm but serious. For a moment, she thought that she should have gone to prison with her twin brother. Maybe Ty Lee wouldn't betray her if Goku was there. But then the small idea that Goku might have also betrayed her came to her mind, and she went angered. The servant girls did not know what was happening, they did not know if they may have done something wrong, so they called for her. Azula woke up from her thoughts and saw the face of the servants that looked worried. She looked at the mirror to see her dress, it was a light red dress, which was refined and looked perfect for elegant parties, but comfortable enough to fight with it. She drew a small smile and then thanked the servants. The servants were already accustomed to the harsh attitude of the princess, but they still wanted to follow her. She has accomplished so many things at a young age, she had to go against many betrayals of her most dear people for her, and she is still doing the best for her country. Even when she was harsh, their families are living a good life thanks to her and her family, for that they will always follow her, but, with this new attitude, they just reaffirm their loyalty. Azula asked them to put her in the armor she always uses. To do that, 6 girls needed to lift the armor, as it was too heavy for them to lift alone. The armor only covered her shoulders, pectoral, and part of the abdomen. It was in a V form. It won't be that different from the normal armor, but this was modified with the specification that Azula asked, so it will weigh 200 pounds 90 kilos. It was incredible that Azula wore that armor almost every day and could walk and train with it like nothing. After that Azula thanked them again and left the room. The servants were sad that they couldn't be in the coronation process. On her way out, Li and Lo appeared before her. "Good day, Fire Lord Azula," said both of them at the same time. Azula answered and greeted them, then she continued walking. After that, the old women said, "We hear you asked the Imperial soldiers to leave. Why did you take that decision?" Azula surprisingly turned to them, but she was not angry and just answered in a calm way. "The Avatar and his followers are out there with Zuko. So, they already know about Father's plan and will think that the Fire Nation will be unprotected. That is why I send them to different points, in case they show up. But if they are fools enough to fly here, Goku and I will take care of them." After that Azula left the place as she continued her walking. The crown ceremony was taking place at the palace's main square. Only the sages and Goku were there, and from inside the palace, some servants were watching. Azula was on her knees as the sages were making the royal process. Even when it was absurd that the coronation process is carried out with only one person other than the sages and who will be crowned. Due to the current situation, it could not be helped. But for the people involved, it did not matter. The servants that were watching from the windows of the palace were moved to tears when the sage finally put the crown in Azula's head. "Well, hair, it is more like a hair ornament." Then suddenly from the skies, a roar was heard. The flying bison was landing, and over it was Zuko and the water tribe girl from Amashu. Goku, for a moment, was happy as he thought that his brother was back and would join them again. But he was mistaken. "Today, you won't become the Fire Lord. I am. You know, you arrived a little late for the ceremony. You are going down." "Zuko, just what are you doing?" Azula stopped Goku with her hand and then turned where Zuko was. "You want to be Fire Lord? Fine. Let's settle this. Just you and me, Zuzu. And I Kai." Goku go closer to Azula. "You know that that's what he wants. And you know that he is no match for me. But don't worry, I am making this so he can open his eye." And suddenly, a fireball was sent where Goku and Azula were. Azula moved away quickly, but Goku stopped with his hands as if it had passed. The sages may have been injured, that is why Goku asked them to enter the palace. Azula ran to the garden and she was followed by Zuko. The waterbender girl was going behind, but Goku blasted his firebending in front of her so she could stop. He did not want to injure her, just to halt her. Goku said to her. "An Ikai is an honorable fight between two warriors, do not interfere." The girl got angry and attacked him with water that looked like an octopus. Goku just dodged all the attacks by moving to his sides. Then when she was standing over the water ducks, she produced a great amount of water and turned it into piercing eyes, and were sent against him. Goku destroyed each one of them with his own fist. He got closer to her pretty fast and just grabbed her arm and threw her against a wall. She lost her breath and could not stand up immediately. Meanwhile, Azula was fighting Zuko, but this time Azula was calmer. She did not rush herself against Zuko, instead used the same tactic she used against Goku and went with close combat. That made Zuko confused as his sister was known to always overpower people with firebending, but now with the Comet Sazan, when she may have more power, she chose to have a close combat fight. And to make things worse for him, even when Zuko's firebending is even more potent than ever before, it's unable to hurt Azula. Zuko was getting more desperate and when he saw that his companion was sent against a wall, it made him go more aggressively. He went very close to where Azula was and blasted his fire, but Azula moved away and the fire was going directly to the pond where the turtle ducks were. Before Zuko's blast could reach the pond, a blue fire blast went against his bast and saved the animals in the pond. It was the blast of Azula that she sent while in the air. Then she said, "I won't let you destroy it." Azula was in the attack and Zuko tough. Not even Ty Lee was that agile, Toph was not that strong, the Avatar was not that fast either. Zuko was overwhelmed by the big difference, and the worst is that she was doing it without the help of the comet as she did not use any firebending technique. Azula punched Zuko in the stomach and he got lifted from the ground due to the strength and then she spin kicked him and sent him to fly against the same wall where the waterbender girl was. Azula started to walk towards Zuko while he was still panting after the crash with the wall. The fight was over, Goku was just standing as he did not want this to happen. Suddenly Azula stopped. The waterbender girl looked at the face of Azula and Goku. Both of them looked scared, but they were looking at the sky. They turned to look at each other, and Azula started to cry. No. This can't be true. Father cannot. Azula took the crown from her head and then stood in front of Zuko. You wanted power so badly. You wanted to be the Fire Lord so bad that you were willing to sacrifice the lives of our men. Betraying not only your nation but also your family. You wanted our father to die. For what? For this. Azula threw the crown at Zuko, which gave him a small scratch close to the cheek. You can have it. Then Goku and Azula started to fly away. Zuko and the waterbender girl were in shock and confused when they saw both of them flying away. Without knowing what may happen next, the waterbender girl started to heal Zuko's injuries with her water technique. Zuko just said, "Thanks, Katara." Goku was able to fly faster than Azula and she was having difficulties already. They could pass most of the ocean already as they were flying with all their might. Goku, knowing that this can be dangerous to Azula, said, "Go and find a place where we can take father. I'll bring him there." "No, I am going with you. I am not asking you go and find a place where we can take father." That was the first time Goku imposed himself over his sister. Azula understood that she was getting weaker from the amount of energy she was expending while flying, so she obeyed. She cursed herself for not training the flying technique as Goku did. She has been comfortable using it only for short distances, especially for battle tactics, but not for traveling long distances. The Sazin comet already left. The sky was black as the night was able to conquer the time. Ozai was on the floor, defeated but alive. The Avatar was in front of him. 3 of Avatar's friends were there. The girl that escaped from the boiling rock prison, a water tribe guy with a broken leg, and the last one was Toph, the blind girl that was rescued by Goku back in Ba Sin Sea. Behind them was a war balloon from the Fire Nation that was stolen from one of them. It seemed that they were waiting for someone, but they were too relaxed. Then their expressions, everyone, except for the blind earthbender, changed. They saw a guy in a crimson fight suit that looked like G. He was floating in the sky. His hair was a mess, but his face was very serious and looked like he wanted to fight, but he didn't. The Avatar and his friends changed to a fighting position, and the blind girl was confused as she did not know what was happening. Then the mysterious guy talked. "I came for my father, not to fight you, Avatar. But if you want to do it, search for me. I'll be ready for you." The guy landed and took Ozai in his arms and then flew again and left the place. The Avatar and the others were frozen and did not know what to do. The Avatar was too tired to fight again and the others were even worse. Toph was confused. She thought she recognized the voice, but she only felt its touch on the ground for a brief moment and then it was gone, making it difficult for her to realize who that was. Although she thought who it could have been, she didn't want to believe it. What was that? "I don't know, but we have to stop him." "How?" "He is too fast for me and Appa is not with us. We can use the war balloon. By the time we start the balloon, he will be too far away." Although the Avatar won, it felt like there was a bitter flavor due to the appearance of that guy. Meanwhile, Goku was flying with his father in his shoulder. He felt Azula's energy and went to her. She was next to a cave that was an abandoned air nomad temple, which was at the north of Ba Sin Sea. Goku went there and put his father in an old bed that was inside. The next day, Ozai woke up and started to walk outside the cave. Azula went to help him and took him outside. They could see Goku coming back with his hunt and as soon Goku saw his father he made a big smile. Even though it was happy for them that he woke up, nobody made any conversation as they did not know what to say at the moment. Later that day while eating dinner, Azula said, "Once you recover your energy, father, we will strike again. Nobody will be able to defeat any of us. Not even the Avatar." "Is over, Azula." Ozai looked serious but calm. "But this will be my fight, my own war. There is no need for you two to be involved in it anymore." Goku and Azula were confused about this. "Azula, you are the daughter anyone would ask, a true leader, untamed, strong and fearless, just like fire, unlike your brother Zuko who is bland and voluble. Goku, you are strong and your determination only can be compared to the lava of a volcano. I only wish you were my true son." Azula and Goku were in shock by the last part. Why would he say that he wishes that he was his true son? Azula thought for a moment about the letter from her mom that she found a year ago. But it was about Zuko. "Right," thought Azula. "I found you alone in the wilds and took you into my family. You become a real son, a better son than the one who really has my blood. Please take care of Azula." After that, Ozai went inside the cave and went to sleep again. Goku and Azula stayed outside confused about what they just hear. The next day Azula woke up and Goku was just standing outside looking at the sky, then she started to run to his father's room, but there was nobody. She went back to Goku and he simply shook his head. Azula knew what was happening as she also knew how to feel energy like Goku. Their father's energy was no more, fulfilling a promise. A few months have passed since the war was over. The news over the process of the restoration movement is spreading. Azula and Goku try to live their lives alone. Although Azula does have some wishes for vengeance. All she wanted to do was to find his father. Even if it was only his corpse. One of the searches took them way too close to a fire colony. Azula decided to stay behind while Goku would go and find something to eat. As Goku made his way to the nearby village, he could feel the presence of the Avatar and his followers, alongside others. There was one person that he could recognize. And it seems that person also recognized him. That person separated from the group while no one was paying attention and went to him. "Long time no see you, fatty." "Hey Toph, what are you doing here?" "Lost mostly. I need to find something to eat for my sister." "Still traveling with her?" "Yeah. And what about you?" "Well, I was with some friends, but I got bored." "Want some company?" "Sure." While both were walking to the village, Goku and Toph were thinking the same. They realized that both of them were in that moment when Goku took his father from the hands of the Avatar, but they were on different sides. Toph was not sure that was him, as in that time he was there was way too fast, so she could not recognize him completely, but the voice was way too similar. Goku was sure she was there, but thought she might have been tricked by the Avatar, just like his brother. "So, what's new?" "Nothing, just boresome. Since the war is over, I haven't found anything exciting. I miss fighting." "I know, right? I did not like the war, but the fight was always welcome, especially if they're strong. Speaking of which, you owe me a fight." "You are right, what if we do it after I give the food back to my sister?" "Sure, wanna come with me?" Toph thought for a moment about her friends, but all of them were too focused on political affairs. She could not help them with it and she did not care about that either, so she decided to follow Goku. After Goku bought the things her sister asked him, they went outside the village, into a forest. Deep in the forest was a small cabin, outside it was a campfire that was already off. It seems that the cabin was made recently, but it was made strong enough. Or at least it was Toph's judgment. Goku went inside the cabin, but his sister did not want to go out. Toph was able to feel that there was somebody there in one of the beds inside the cabin, but could not recognize anyone as the person was not touching the ground. After a while, Goku went outside. Is she not coming out? Well, we have passed for some rough situations, and she does not feel that good. Oh, sorry. Don't worry. Shall we start? Bring it on, fatty. Toph got into a fighting stance and concentrated so she could feel even the tiniest movement of Goku, which worked, but it made her more surprised. Despite his weight, he was fast, way too fast. Toph decided to create various walls in front of Goku. While Goku will try to break them, she will move to one side. But Goku could run through them, and when Toph moved to one side, he tried to kick her. Because Goku was running and Toph moved at the last moment, Goku used his hands on the floor to stop his inertia and use it to make a more lethal kick. Fortunately, Toph was able to feel that so she moved the earth where Goku was supporting himself. While Goku was trying to recover his stability, Toph launched some earth attacks on him. Then she lifted rock cylinders with some kind of arms close to where Goku was. The cylinders started to spin and tried to punch Goku in the ribs. Goku was able to use one of them to gain more distance, and after some backflips, Goku was in a fighting stance again. Toph got excited. She hasn't felt like this from a fight since she was fighting in the Earth Rumble for the first time. The Earth Rumble become boring later on, as no one could defeat her. But now she is fighting with this guy who seems to be a non-bender, and he is still very good, then remembered his non-bender friend Sokka. She tough. I should apologize for making fun of him for being a non-bender, now I will make fun of him solely in the fact that he is weak. While Toph was trying to cover herself in rock, she started to launch a bunch of rocks in the shape of discs. Meanwhile, Goku went after her and was punching and kicking the discs. Then when they were closer, they started to fight in close combat. Toph had to think very fast, every time Goku landed a punch, part of the rock armor she just made was falling. So she used her earthbending to unbalance Goku, while punching him as fast and as strong as she could. When she realized that almost all her rock armor was destroyed, she made a platform, that way she could be on higher ground, which would give her more time. But that time was short as she realized that Goku was going over the platform. He was just running, but with the inertia and the power of his feet, he was able to get to the top rather quickly. Toph already had another armor of rock, but now she had a new idea. She was going to spin the platform to disorient Goku. The advantage of being blind is that this kind of thing does not affect her. The plan is to keep spinning the platform while dodging Goku attacks, so she will need to change the places where he is seeing, and eventually, he will be dizzy and lower his defense with enough time for her to give him the last punch. For Goku this situation, rather than made him dizzy, was uncomfortable as he could not put a firm step as the platform was still moving and change every time, he was too close to her. Toph was way too close to being punched, so she decided to change her tactics and went inside the platform. She sent some rock mannequins that were similar to her when she wears the rock armor, and with a lot of concentration, she was moving the platform and controlling the mannequins, so they will be the ones attacking Goku. The tactic seemed that was effective as he received some punches and kicks directly. Goku was confused as many figures like Toph showed up and now he was really getting dizzy. So he decided to just close his eyes and try to read the energy and fight that way, then he was able to find where Toph was. Goku punched the platform and it broke completely. While falling, Goku realized that big rock was going to fall over Toph who just landed back first and probably won't be able to react to can bend it. Goku went and destroyed it before it was too late. Then Goku gave her his hand to help her to stand. Toph did take it. That was amazing, you were also tremendous. Could you stop being so loud? Toph did not realize that another person was there. When she recovered her attention to her surroundings, she realized that the one talking was Princess Azula. Is dinner ready? As you can see. Do you want to accompany us? Goku asked Toph. Toph was still in shock and in a defensive position. She could feel that Azula did not have any desire to fight, but she already proved to her that she could lie to her without any problem back in the invasion. Suddenly, Goku took Toph from her wrist and set her next to the fire camp. He sat in front of her and gave her just a small bowl, then he helped himself from the pot over the fire. Goku started to eat as he normally does, Azula was eating in a more normal way, but Toph did not serve herself any food. When Goku realized he said, "Sorry, should I have also served you food?" Toph decided to let the things happen for the moment and answered Goku. "No, I can do it myself." After dinner was over Toph said to Goku that she needed to go back, Azula just entered the cabin and Goku went to walk with Toph for a part of the way back to the village. Toph was confused at the moment. She was told by Zuko's uncle that Goku was a war maniac who only enjoyed violence. That he was the fitting image of what I wanted in soldiers. Zuko told her that his firebending was very powerful, that it could destroy entire buildings with no effort, even without the Sazin Comet. Zuko even showed us the house that Goku destroyed for enjoyment back in Ember Island. Katara mentioned that, back in the invasion, Goku was the one that led the soldiers and destroyed almost all the machinery we had. Aang described him as a person with big menacing energy, although, he also said that it may have been because we had his father. But the guy walking with her does not fit that description. He is innocent and honest, as she can realize with her earthbending, he even went to her rescue when they did not know about each other. And if he wanted to take advantage of her, he would have done it already, but he didn't. But he was really Goku, Zuko's brother. He was with his sister, who was undeniably Azula, although she was kind of different. Can I ask you something? Sure. Why was Azula that way? She could not think of another question. You knew my sister? Well, we have fought before. Oh right. Forgot that you were a follower of that Avatar guy. Toph felt that Goku was somehow upset when he mentioned the Avatar. Well, our father disappeared. And we think the worst happened to him, isn't that? She was going to say that it was a good thing, but she stopped herself. Goku was an open book for her and she felt his pain. Sorry. I don't know what to say to you. He was your father after all, but for all of us, he was the bad guy. That is something I don't understand. Why? Why people fought him when he only wanted to do the right thing? Pardon? The final goal that my father had was to bring balance. By taking over the world. No, by making real equality. Non-benders and benders of any kind living alongside without any separation of any kind. Isn't that too good to be true? It is something worth trying. Well, you may be right in that, but that should be the Avatar's job. And the only thing he does is to separate people. Toph was going to argue with that, but they arrived at a hill where the village could be seen. The village was in some trouble because of the restoration movement, where they are trying to take the Fire Nation citizens out of their homes, as the land was supposed to be for the Earth Kingdom, so no firebenders were allowed anymore. Maybe you are right about that. But still, the war is over, it's dumb for us to keep talking about it. Toph smiled a little. Can I spar with you another day? Of course. I don't know how much time we will be here. But if we met again, be sure that we will train together. Thanks. Toph left Goku's side and went back to the village. When Goku got back to the cabin and Azula was already sleeping in her bed. Family reunion. Part 1. Toph has been visiting Goku every other day after the first training session with him. Normally, she also brought some food. Azula is either inside the cabin resting or outside in her attempt of finding her father. One day when Toph arrived, Azula was next to the campfire, the day was sunny and the earth was dry for that reason. Goku was not there as he went hunting for something to eat, then Toph felt that out of nowhere Goku arrived. She could not felt from where he came. Goku said hi to her, but she was still confused. From where you came? From there? I did not feel you walking from that place. Well, that's because I was flying, not walking. Toph was surprised that it was true. She was told by everyone that Goku and Azula could fly, but she did not believe it. The only one that may be able to do that was Aang, the Avatar, as he was an airbender, but there is no way that another person could do that. Are you an airbender? No. So how could you fly? You don't need to be an airbender to fly. Azula can also do it and she is a firebender like me. What? Do you want to learn it? Eh? She was getting even more confused. So, he could fly, and also Azula could do it just like she was told by her friends. But now, she was invited to learn how to fly. Sorry, but I don't think that's a good idea. I really need to be on the earth. Toph said while pointing her eyes. But then Azula said. That training will also help you to improve your skills. And you need it if you want to be Goku's sparring partner. Azula was still very calm, but also with some apathy. She has not shown any feeling of anger or happiness since her father's disappearance, and that was something that is starting to concern Goku. Toph, by her side, was a little curious about the training, so she ended up accepting. The next hours they started to train together. At first, Toph was annoyed. The things Goku was telling her were almost the same thing she already does for her earthbending, only for some minor differences. She always aimed to feel her surroundings, but not herself. Then something felt different, something about her energy and energy around her, not only the waves of people touching the ground, but also the energy of living things. And by a few seconds, she could feel the energy of some birds that were flying close by. She got surprised when she felt the energy of the bird, she fell back with a smile saying, "Wow." After that training, she went back to the village. Unfortunately for her, most of the problems were already solved thanks to Avatar helping out in the area. She told their friends that she will go back to visit her house while they went to do their things. Once she arrived at her house, she realized that her mother and father are now separated. His father seems that was close to the village where she was training with Goku. It was something that she did not know. Although they were separate, his father was still sending money back to their home. Toph stayed at the house as she learned that the reason their parents broke up was that her mother did really wanted to see Toph and regretted the way she was raised, while his father was furious that she escaped and wanted to be even more strict. Toph asked her mom to not tell her father that she was with her as she wanted to spend time with her. In her time in the mansion, Toph talked a lot with her mom and also trained. Toph was hooked with the sensation to can also feel other things outside the ground. In one of her training, to can concentrate even better she decided to use a metal plate so she won't feel the ground. To her surprise, a few minutes later, she was able to also feel through the metal all the surroundings. At first she got upset and she stood up really quickly, bent the metal plate and sent it to fly against a tree, which was close to hitting one of the guards that were in the garden. Then she realized what she just did, she metal bend. Toph said to herself, "Toph, you rule." She could not wait to be able to show that to Goku, but she stopped herself as she needed to perfect this new bending, and she is still not even close to Goku, so she took another week to train. Before she could go back to the village where she found Goku, Aang and Katara arrived and asked her for her help. It seemed that Zuko was trying to find the whereabouts of her mother. He was trying to search inside the royal mansion, he knew that there were some secret passages, but he was unable to find them right now. They thought that she could help with her earthbending. Toph was told before by Zuko that his mother was dead, but it seems that there was information that she may be alive. Zuko wanted to investigate until he finds out the truth, either to confirm that she is alive or dead. This made Toph think about Goku and Azula right away. Maybe they will also want to find their mother. They are already searching for his father, but this can be a good way to reconnect their family, thought Toph before accepting. She asked them to wait as she wanted to go somewhere first, and then asked them to take her to the village they were before, but then she stopped and stood in silence for a moment. She felt that the energy of Goku in another place. You know, never mind that place. Remember the place where we fought the first time? The forest with a small river passing through? Yes, I guess. Take me there. The flight took a couple of hours, which made Aang and Katara somehow upset because they were flying in the opposite direction to the Fire Nation. Toph asked them to go down near the river and asked them to stay with Appa. She said she will have to go alone. Oh no, young lady. You take us all the way here and you are trying to let us here alone? Yeah, we cannot make Zuko wait so long. Look guys, if you want me to help, you need to wait. After that Toph started to run, which for her seems like normal, but Aang and Katara were surprised by the speed, they could barely see her going out. Toph went as fast she could to the ghost town of Tuzin, which was no longer a ghost town. There were a lot of people living there now, but she cared only about finding Goku. She did find them inside a house made of wood and earth. Some soldiers tried to stop her from entering, but she did go inside before they could even get close enough to stop her. Inside the house were simple furniture, some couches, and a fireplace made of stone. And next to the pod was Goku taking some food from it. After Toph entered she just said, "Hi," and Goku answered back. Behind Toph one of the guards entered, but when they saw that Goku was talking freely with her, so they left. I thought this town was abandoned. It was. That's why we came here. How's that? Well, a bunch of people from the Fire Nation found us and wanted to live with us. Azula decided that we should leave the place, and I asked her to come here. Well, I guess that not all the people want Zuko as Fire Lord," said Toph putting her hands in the back of her head. "It seems that you have been training." "You bet. I can't wait to train with you." "Well, about that. I came here not to train but to ask you something. Oh, okay. Your brother seems that is looking for your mother. And I was wondering if you could help us. We could. With one condition. Azula appeared as she was coming down the stairs. Ask the Avatar to help us to find our father. Why do you need Ong? Because he is the one that can help us search in the spirit world. Toph wanted to say that his evil father will never be in the spirit world, but she stopped herself. She knew that, unlike Zuko, they cared more about their father. And she has not talked to Zuko about the disappearance of his father. Okay, I promise. But Goku has to tell me the information. Sure. Toph put that condition because Azula already proved that she can lie blatantly in front of her back in the invasion, and her lie detection technique will not work in her. Then Goku told him about the village of Hirai, about Noriko, who was their real mother, and what the spirit told them, about how their mother decided to forget them to have a life without them. Toph, at that moment, felt a change in Azula but went to her normal self again. He also told her about a letter their mother sent to her lover and that Zuko is only their half-brother. He told her where Azula found the letters and how to get to the hidden room. The information that Zuko was not the Fire Lord's son surprised Toph, but then Azula smirked and told Toph to go and tell Zuko the truth that he wasn't Ozai's son. After that Toph went back to Aang and Katara. They were sitting next to the river taking their hands and smiling at each other. Toph stood behind them until Katara, annoyed, turned to her. Now, are you going to tell us where did you go? I have information about Zuko's mother. What? Really? From where did you get it? Katara asked confused. Great, now we can tell Zuko about it. Before that. Aang, if you want me to tell him, you will need to give me a favor afterward. But if you agree, you must do it. Aang was confused by that and somehow hurt that Toph has to make him promise that he will make a favor to her. He thought that she must know that he will make any favor for his friends, but after her serious face of Toph he said, you have my word as an Avatar. After that, the three of them went to the Fire Nation capital. It took them another 5 days to arrive at the palace of the Fire Lord. When they finally arrived, they were received by 2 couples, Zuko and Mai, and Sokka and Zuki. Ty Lee was also with them. She was somehow relieved that she was not the only one without a pair anymore. Once they landed, Zuko and Aang hugged and then Zuko bowed a little to Toph. Thank you for helping me find my mother. You have my deepest gratitude. Are you sure you want to find out about your mom? The truth can be painful. No matter if it hurt, I want to know about her. Toph looked a little sad about the answer. The rest of the people continue with the greetings. Toph took the leadership and walked directly in one direction inside the mansion. This made the others wonder how did she know where to go, then she entered a room that looked very simple. Inside the room, there was some paper and some incense on an altar. On that altar, there was a rock with the symbol of the Fire Nation. Then Toph turned to Zuko who was just behind her and said, this is the last chance. Are you sure that you want to know? This time Zuko felt that there may be something wrong, but he still said, I am sure. Toph sighed a little and then asked Zuko to firebend to the rock. Zuko was confused, but he obeyed. When the fire hit the rock it started to move, a secret passage was shown there that made everyone to be surprised. They got even more surprised about the things inside that room. Clothes of air, earth and water tribes, some articles from them also, the necklace of the air nomads, a shield of the water tribes, swords made by the earthbenders, spears of the waterbenders, and many valuable furniture like glasses, vases and jars, all of them looked very expensive. Everyone was stunned by what they were seeing. Toph pointed to a chest and said inside there. Zuko was nervous about how sure was Toph about everything, but he still followed her order and opened the chest. Inside the chest were a lot of his mom's belongings. Zuko could not resist and some tears started to fall from his eyes as he was holding his mom's dress. Mai went and sat at his side and hugged him. Zuko was waiting to get more information about her mom, but he was still happy about this finding, so he turned to Toph and said, thank you, with a smile. Toph answered him saying, do not thank me yet. You still need to read the letters inside the chest. Zuko got confused and then Mai took from the bottom of the chest some letters. That was the closer clue they have had in years about his mother's whereabouts, but when he started to inspect the letters, all of them were directed to the town in Hirai, some of them were to her family. All the crew was helping as reading it seemed to make Zuko a little happier. The only one that did not join was Toph. The others were reading the letters aloud. My little Zuko had a fight with his sister, but they seemed to look over themselves. Katara chuckled a little. Dear parents. Azula and Goku could walk already thanks to Zuko, he is becoming a great older brother. He helped them too can walk as he took their hands. Everybody said, ah, in unison, and Zuko blushed. Dear Ikem, I belong to you, and nothing is worth the pain. My only consolation is our son Zuko. Sokka was reading the letter, and then everybody stopped what they were doing when they heard what Sokka just read. Sokka only realized after he read it again. Zuko was shocked, and Mai only could take his hand. After that discovery, all of the gang went outside the room. Zuko took the letter from Sokka and also left the room. Zuko told them that he needed some time and left them. Mai went with him and the group stayed behind. Then Katara asked Toph, "You were very sure on where to go and that he will find something inside that chest. How did you know about it?" "Yes, it was like you already knew. All those questions were to warn him, right? Before starting the search. Say something." Toph remained silent and then she started to walk away from them and stopped in the main plaza and she decided to sit there. Sokka and Suki sat next to her and said, "You did the right thing," then they both hugged her. After some time, all were invited for dinner inside the palace. Mai made the commentary that most of the people of the palace were replaced as they left with no warning. She was upset for that to happen. Then Zuko asked the group to go with him to Hira as he still wanted to find his mother. Then Zuko directed the petition to Toph. "Please continue to help me in this," and he bowed to her. Toph felt a lump in the throat as she already knew the truth out of Goku, but the only thing she could do is to nod to Zuko. She knew that the truth will hurt him, but he is her friend and he also needed to know. The next day they traveled to the village of Hira, but this time, Sokka and Suki did not travel with them, it was only Zuko, Mai, Aang, Katara, and Toph. All arrived at the village without any problem. And as if it was destiny, Zuko stomped with a little girl, and behind her was a woman. At the same time, Toph asked Aang to talk to him in private. "Look, I don't think that we should continue this. We already arrived at the village. And our friend does need to know the truth. The truth will hurt him even more. It seems that you already know everything. Let's say that I asked the correct person before coming. Well. Either way, no matter how painful it may be, he still needs to know." Toph did not say anything, but the Avatar realized that she was really concerned about Zuko. "She is dead, right? That would be less painful." Toph answered like if it was whispering. The Avatar was confused as he could not think of something more painful than that. When they went back, Zuko and Mai were talking with a woman. She had a mask of the blue spirit in her hands. She invited the group to her house and offered them some tea. She talked to them about the story about Ursa, about her love story inside the village, and how she reappeared. While Zuko was very interested, Mai was suspicious. In her mind she was thinking. Why is she telling the story of one of the royal family so lightly? And if she knew that Ursa was here, at that moment Ursa was a fugitive, why did she or any of the village people say something about it? I doubt that all the village would keep the secret. And why she is telling that to Zuko is that she does not realize that he is the Fire Lord and she is openly telling him that his mother did have a lover. And even when she did not recognize him, saying things like that to strangers about the royal family would be something that could take her to capital punishment. Well, that was with Ozai. I doubt Zuko would do that, but if any other soldier hears her, she may receive that punishment. Because of all of this chain of thoughts, after the woman stopped saying the tragic love story of Ursa, Mai asked the woman, "Why are you telling us this?" "Well, you seem like a good kid and you know that she was part of the royal family. Saying this, either is true or not, can give you capital punishment." "Mai, am I wrong?" The woman got scared for a moment but got comforted when she heard that her boyfriend was scolding her. "You're right. It's just that I have this feeling after seeing you, especially you." The woman was saying that while watching Zuko. "It already happened to me almost a year ago. My husband also scolded me for talking with another two youngsters. Thank you for letting us know about it. It seems we know where to go now." "Wait, what happened with those other two youngsters?" "Well, they entered the forest and then left almost right away." "Thank you." Zuko ended the conversation and the rest of the group also left the place. The cup of tea that was using Zuko was empty when they left. When everybody was going inside the forest, Toph decided to stay behind. Aang volunteered first to stay with her, but she said to Aang that he needs to go with them, so Katara was the one that stayed behind with her. While the rest entered the forest, Katara and Toph went back with Appa. At night Katara could not resist asking Toph what was happening. In her eyes, Toph looked too out of herself. "Katara, do you remember the time you passed with your mom?" "Well, yes. Although every time her face becomes blurrier. I still remember how she pampered us, me and Sokka. How she used to cook us the food. Even when our father was the leader of the tribe, she was the leader of our family. I recently was able to speak with my mother again after all this time. It seems that she has come to terms with my personality. But then I realized that she did not change, she is still the caring mother I remember." Then a big silence happened as each of them started to think about their family. Then Toph started to speak again. "My parents got separated. My mother went against my father and now they are separate. My mother was trying to make my father acknowledge me. Sorry to hear that. Don't be." The moment my mother told me that she recognizes me for who I am, it made me very happy. And that she will even go as far as to fight with my father for me. That made me too happy. "What about your father?" "Well, it's his decision if he wants to be part of our family now. But right now, I am happy." Although Katara knows that Toph cannot see her, she still smiled at her when she saw how happy Toph looked when she was talking about it. But then Toph changed her face to a more serious one and she whispers, is there a reason for a mother to decide to forget about her own kids? Katara could not hear her. They passed the night next to Appa. The next day Toph and Katara went to the village and to find something to eat. Katara started to talk with the woman from yesterday and when they got back, Toph asked about the woman again. That old woman really likes to talk. Boo. Ms. Nariko. Boo. Ms. Nariko, the woman that talked about Zuko's mother yesterday. Toph realized that they already talked with Zuko's mother. That somehow upset Toph and went back to Appa to wait for the rest. They did come back at night when Toph was sleeping over Appa, so she did not notice when they arrived. The next day, Toph realized that all of the team was already there, except Zuko, even Mai was waiting for him. Then Zuko arrived with a woman and her husband next to him on the other side, and a little girl who was been held in Zuko's arms. Let me present you, my mother. Mom, they are my dearest friends. The woman smiled at them. She no longer has the face of Nariko, instead, she has the face of the painting of Ursa. Everybody was smiling at them, except for Toph and Mai. But Mai just sighed and drew a smile to Zuko and then put her serious face again, she demanded Zuko to put the kid away from him. The kid got scared of Mai and hid her face in Zuko's chest. Are you going to forgive her just like that? You know everything, right? Yes, I know. But she is still my mother and I love her. Toph was visibly upset and Zuko got annoyed by it. He was going to say something to her, but Aang intervened. What if I take you all back to the capital? Let's all hope on Appa. Stop, you need to fulfill your promise. What? Right now? Can we do it some other time? Look, you give me your word as the Avatar that you will keep your promise. Well, we can do it once we come back to the capital. No. Aang was getting upset in the attitude of Toph, but Katara calmed him down. Does it have to be Aang? Yes, only him. Okay. We can always come back in those ships of the Fire Nation. Katara kissed Aang and whispered to him, go with her. It seems that it's something important. Aang was still upset, but he was calmer and nodded to her. Then he turned to Zuko and his family and said his farewells. When the fly bison left, Zuko apologized to his mother for her behavior. She is a good friend. To be honest, I think that is a natural way to answer for what happened. No doubt about it. Mai said in a stern tone while standing in front of her. She was Zuko's girlfriend and even when Zuko forgave her, Mai was still really upset about the situation. She also knew her decision of forgetting about her kids to have a new life with another man. Family Reunion Part 2. Over the flying bison, Aang asked Toph where are they going and she answered, to the same forest of last time. When Aang was calmer, he talked with Toph. I wanted to ask you. Why were you that upset back then? You are a monk, you won't understand. What? Look, did you hear what happened, right? Yes, she has to go for all those problems because of the Fire Lord. Wrong. If it was only for the Fire Lord, she could have gone to any Earth village as a refugee, like hundreds of people did. But what she did? She go for another man and decided that that man was more important than the memory of her kids. Old people need to find their own happiness. See, I told you that you won't understand. Monks do not have a concept of family. I thought that you were the one that loves freedom. That does not mean that I do not love my family. Or that I would want to forget about them. They were overprotective parents, and even when I was with you having fun or fighting in the war, I never forgot my parents. Aang got silent. He got reflexive, he was not raised in the parenting system of father and mother, as the airbenders were raised all together, and the idea of parents was not really implemented. Aang does not know or remember who his parents were, and that has never been a problem for him, as that was the way the airbenders were raised. After they arrived at the forest, Toph asked Aang to stay there as she will come back later. Aang decided to go to the river close by and meditate there. After an hour, he heard that Toph was back, so he stood up and opened his eyes, only to be surprised as behind Toph was Azula and Goku. Aang changed into a fighting stance and said, left Toph to go. Toph attacked Aang and made him fall, then she said to the Avatar. They are not here to attack you. They are here because you need to help them. What? Why should I help them? Because they are the ones that give me the information of the whereabouts of Zuaversa. They? Who else would know about it? Besides, you give me your word as an Avatar that you will give me this favor. After Aang was sure that he was not going to be attacked by the Fire Twins, he lowered his defense. He reflected a little and then asked, what kind of favor do you need? We are searching for our father. Wasn't he with you? He disappeared a few months ago. And how do you expect me to help? Take us to the spirit world. What? Do you know what you are talking about? You know that there is not a way to enter there. It is even difficult for me as an Avatar to go there, let alone taking other people. Besides, thinking that I could take you there, why do you think he would be there? In the North and South Pole are portals to the spirit world. Only the Avatar can open and close the portals. And if after we go there we do not find him, that will be okay. Aang thought for a while. Then Toph said, you wanted to know about families. Well, you can also see the other part of the same family. Aang stayed silenced for a moment. Very well, but I hold no responsibility if you got trapped there. Aang accepted and the four went on Appa. While they were on their trip, most of the time there was silence. Aang was hoping that, in the meantime of the travel, he could give a reason to Toph so she could stop this, but he couldn't. In fact, Toph was talking with Goku and Azula like she does with him and the others in the Team Avatar. So, why don't you fly by yourselves? Well, we don't know where exactly is. And I want to talk a little with you. Really? About what? Well, you never told us how was your training. Toph made a big smile. Let's just said that my vision and repertoire have increased. Can't wait to show it to you. Really? Wow. While Goku and Toph were talking, Azula just watched Goku with a big smile. In her head, the words told by her father about Goku were still haunting her, I only wish you were my true son. She could not conceive that Goku was not her twin brother, but still, he felt like family, the only family she has left. She felt comfortable when she was with Goku, something that never happened with his mother, his older brother Zuko, nor with his father. And even when she has that revelation, she could not go against herself. She has never been able to hate Goku, and she is still unable to left his side. Brother or not, he is the only thing she has left, and she will fight with all her might to keep him with her. The Avatar landed at night so they could rest. Unlike the time when Toph and the Avatar spent together with their friends, when they needed to take different responsibilities of the campfire, this time all went smoothly, as no one asked the other for help to set their camp. Azula burned part of the grass, and then remove it and use that place to put the fire, after that she covered part of the grass with a sheet. Toph by her side created a little camp house with her earthbending. Goku did not make any preparation, he just brought some logs and used one for the fire and another as a pillow. Aang was watching everything, he tried to see if they will do something to her friend, but they did not do anything. In fact, it looks like they were giving her the space she always wanted back with his group, so he ended up giving up with that task and slept over Appa. After a day of travel, they arrived at the South Pole. And by their surprise that day was the solstice, so Aang could open the portal to the spirit world. The portal was inside a dead forest, and around it was some dark spirits roaming, but when Aang started to walk to the portal, the spirits moved away. At first, Aang did not know what to do, but when they arrived at the center he saw a sphere of light, then the Avatar knew that has to touch it, while in the Avatar state. A great light shouted to the sky, and all were transported to the spirit world. The place was very dark. A tree was almost next to the portal where a red spirit was trapped. Aang looked worried for it, but something inside him told him that the spirit should be there. Then they started to walk, but the one in front was Goku. Aang told them that inside the spirit world they won't be able to use their bending, which was troublesome by Toph, but she resolved her problem by putting her hand on Azula's shoulder. When Aang realized that, he thought that Azula was going to do something mean to her. Azula just saw the hand and then paid no attention to it and started to walk. Azula was still more worried about finding her father, and by the security that Goku was walking, she decided to only follow him without asking anything. Azula foresaw this happening, she knew that the bending won't be working, but they will not need it because Goku could find their father with his sensing technique, which is not linked to any bending, so there won't be any problem. The whole place was full of spirit energy, which should be no problem for Goku. After some time walking, Azula and Toph could also sense the energy of Ozai. Toph let the shoulder of Azula go so she could go alongside Goku to their father. Aang went and took the shoulder of Toph. While he was watching Azula running to her father, he hugs her with care, then he turned to Goku and opened his arm, welcoming Goku, which made Goku run, and then he cried on his shoulder. Aang, at the moment, after seeing the scene he got a warm feeling. I guess the monks were right. Everybody has good in their hearts. Looking them like that made me realize that. Toph was not able to see or feel with her earthbending, but she knew that Goku and Azula were with their father, then she asked Aang. Although I am happy for them. I got my doubts that he would be here. And why did you ask me to take them here? That was their idea. Oh, do you know how he was able to come here? Well. It is said that when you hit your lowest point is when you are subject to a greater change. Meanwhile, Aang and Toph were talking. Azula, Goku and Ozai also started to talk. Why are you here? You suddenly disappeared from us. While in my deepest point, I was called by a spirit called Vadu. He offered me great power enough to fulfill my desires. He took me here using a portal near the Northern Air Temple, but when I was in front of him, I realized that the spirit will use me for his own plans. That is why I decide to decline his offer and I end up inside this place. Well, we can take you back to our world. Thanks, but I would prefer to stay here. Well, I do miss you, I do not think there is anything left for me in that world. My time here helped me to find peace and made me realize many things. Both Azula and Goku looked sad for that answer. Azula looked like she was going to suggest staying there with him, but then he said, you two have the potential to make something extraordinary and make a big change in the world. You are the ones that still belong to that world. Azula stopped herself from proposing to stay there, then she turned to his brother and remembered the question she wanted to ask. About what you said of Goku not being my brother. That was a lie, right? No, I did find him in the wilds. He was inside a pod that looked that full from the skies. But the pod disappeared from our warehouse, where it was held by our alchemists and scientists. It seems that some foxes were responsible for it. I have seen the same kind of foxes coming from the library of Wan Shentong. So, he really is not my brother. Those that change any of your memories from him. What? All the things he has done with you and for you. All of them were done by him. Even when he did not share your blood, he was still with you. Unlike another brother who really shares my blood. By the way, you knew that Zuko was not your son. Why did you say that? Azula found a letter from Mom saying that. Well, that was a lie. She proved me with that letter. Unfortunately, I failed. So, he really betrayed his family. Thinking about it will only take your thoughts from the real important things. Azula just chuckled a little at the comment of her father. Well, let's put it like the old time. Azula, Goku, give me your reports of your life. Goku and Azula smiled and started to talk with him. They talked about how they searched for him in the colonies and what is happening there. They also talked about the sparring partner of Goku. I just had a small look at Toph, who was standing next to Aang. They also talked about the new town they founded due to the number of citizens that escaped from the Fire Nation, as they do not want to be ruled by Zuko. After a long talk, Goku and Azula were able to say their farewells to their father. Now they do not have anything left and have a clear mind. Aang and Toph were sitting on the floor. Toph was alone with her legs crossed and bored. Aang was surrounded by a lot of colorful spirits. Azula and Goku got close to them. We can go now, Twinkletos. Okay, wait. How did you call me? She called you Twinkletos, Twinkletos. How why? Come on, we are leaving. After that Azula was in better spirits. She called Aang with the nickname that Toph gave him with a smirk in her mouth. Aang was more surprised by the sudden change, but was okay with it. When they left the spirit world, Aang closed it again. Well, we can go back on our own from here. Thank you for helping us. Don't thank me. It is Toph you should thank. We are going home. Toph, do you want to come with us? Sure. It was a great surprise that the one that invited Toph to go with them was Azula, and Toph answered right away. After everything that has passed, Aang did not oppose the idea. Goku and Azula bow a little with a fist under an open palm as a signal of respect to Aang. Aang answered them with a similar bow. Azula, Goku and Toph started to fly away, which made Aang amazed and confused. I am the airbender, but they are the ones that can fly. Then Appa groaned. Aang just frowned at that and then he said, so am I the weird one? And before he jumped to get over the fly bison, he started to wonder, how am I going to explain all of this to the others? Let me know in the comments below if you guys want the next part. Also check out my other video that has been shown and left. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video please like and share this video. And have a fantastic day. Bye.